Welcome to Daily Devotion with Ken Gurley. Devotions designed to inspire you on your daily walk with God. Here's your host, Ken Gurley.
Hey, good Friday morning to each and all of you. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. It's loud where I'm at. Let me just say it's loud. I don't know. It just sounds like I've got construction over me, around me. Anyway, it's just loud, so I don't know what to say. If you hear people yelling, screaming, it's not me. Well, maybe it is me. But anyway, hey, I just want to give a shout out to my youngest today. This is Kenzie John's birthday. Yes, happy birthday to you. Our youngest, and we love Z. That's what everybody in the family calls her, Z. Like Kenzie, she just Z. And she's the favorite. She's the favorite of so many, and we're just thankful for her. I was driving by. I was preaching in Delaware 2 or 3 weeks ago. What a great time! And they were harvesting pumpkins. Yeah, I don't get to see pumpkins being harvested very much, and I'm seeing a lot of pumpkins around here, and I don't know. I was watching a family out in the driveway a few days ago, and they were carving pumpkins, and I got a kick out of that. And I know there's not much redeeming spiritually about this season, Halloween season or anything, but I don't know, I was watching them work on those pumpkins, and I started thinking, so much of what God does is He takes stuff out of us. He removes the yoke of sin. He brings us out of the pumpkin patch, washes and cleanses us, and puts a smile on our face again, Not much redemptive, as I said, about Halloween, but trying to find one thing here. We're really working hard to do it, you might say. But there's a purpose in what I'm saying. Because so much of salvation is the removal of things. Taking off sin's filthy rags. It's removal. But we can get to the place where we think that's what salvation is. It's just the removal. It's the lifting. It's the taking away. He took my sins away. But that's not all salvation is. Salvation is not just removing and Him carrying away our sorrow of sin. But so much of salvation is addition, not subtraction. He adds things to us. Add to your faith. That it's an addition. It's what we didn't have that He puts inside of us. And one of those things He puts inside of us is the peace of God. Paul said in Colossians 3, let the peace of God rule in your heart. I don't know why this Friday. I just want to talk about the peace of God. And what happens? How do you know in your life when peace has gone missing? When peace has gone on strike? When peace has gone AWOL? I'm a reader of people's stories and biographies. I love biographies. And one of my favorite biographers was the late William Manchester, who wrote Death of a President about JFK, The American Caesar about Douglas MacArthur. And he managed to get out most of his books about Winston Churchill in the Last Lion series. But if you're a follower of that series, there was a decades-long gap before the final book came out because William Manchester died. And someone had to use his research to come up with the last. But it's in that opening book about Churchill. Manchester describes his famous wit. Here's a few of his lines. History will be kind to me because I intend to write it. I like that. He said, I'm always ready to learn. I'm just not always ready to be taught. Or one of my favorite lines from Churchill, a fanatic is one who can't change his mind and won't change the subject. That's pretty good. In his lifetime, he had a running gun battle with various people, including Clement Attlee, a modest man who has much to be modest about, he said. Lady Astor, it's legendary how they attacked each other. She once said, "Winston, if I were your wife, I'd put poison in your coffee." And Churchill replied, "And if I were your husband, I would drink it." I'm telling you, it was just terrible. So witty. We all admire those comebacks, that verbal one-upmanship. But the Bible talks about the things that make for peace, and I can tell you those are not it. And the "I told her and I told them and I gave them a piece of my mind" comments don't bring peace at all. It chases away the dove-like spirit of peace. Through Jesus Christ, God reconciled us. And he calls us into that same ministry, one of reconciliation. We're to be peacemakers, not disturbers of the peace. I read about a group of people years ago that planned to march across America on a mission of peace. Peace between their fellow man. Peace between nations. So this group was walking to emphasize unity and peace, but they couldn't get along. It got so bad by the time they reached Arkansas. They had a civil war and divided into two groups, and neither group finished their march for peace. And that's the human tendency, is that we embrace conflict. We're like Teflon to peace. We're like Velcro to conflict. We suffer not so much from a vitamin C deficiency as from a lack of peace. Whether it was Adam and Eve finding something wrong about paradise, Cain's fuss with Abel, people's lives are told in a series of conflict. In fact, if you're a writer, you know, and if you've been to writers' workshops, you know, if you're a screenwriter especially, you know basically everything you write is about conflict, one form of conflict or another, because it feeds fuel, it feeds energy, and it captures people's attention. The Society of International Law reports that during the last 4,000 years of human history, there's only been 268 years of peace. In the past 2,000 years, there have been over 15,000 recorded wars. In the same time, over 8,000 peace treaties have been broken. 1945, the United Nations was formed with the mantra, "Never again." Its logos are doves and olives of branches, emblems of peace. Its purpose for existence, we may remember, is to have succeeding generations free from the scourge of war. But since its founding, there's not been a single day of peace on this war-torn earth. Embedded within human nature is a desire for conflict. And we move away from peace into areas of disagreement, misunderstanding, wrecked relationships. That's why I just feel like closing out this work week today on Friday, talking about that vital commodity. I'm not talking about pork bellies. That always tickles me. It always tickles me when you look at the commodities listing. There's pork bellies there. I mean, you got gold, corn, wheat, soybeans, pork bellies. Hello, everybody. Yes, I know. It's like somebody shouted squirrel. All you got to do to get Brother Gurley distracted is to say pork belly. It does. I'm sorry. It just distracts me. My mind is going crazy right now. My mind is like this emblem behind me. It's just going crazy. But embedded within human nature is this desire for conflict, and peace goes missing. And to make it worse, more people than ever before are saying, I don't have that commodity of peace. And if the interior world matches the exterior world, then if there's no peace within, there can be no peace without. Peace has gone missing. Didn't give it permission to leave, but like a dove, peace is easily frightened away. Unforgiveness, strife, jealousy, gossip just drives peace away. Yes, I'm pretty much saying social media drives peace away. No wonder peace goes missing. This world is filled with this kind of conflict. Jesus didn't say, blessed are the peace lovers. Everyone or most everyone loves peace. He didn't say, happy are the peaceable, those who rarely get disturbed. No, he said true happiness will come to the person who says, I'm going to make peace. I'm going to lay down these old swords. I'm going to resolve conflict. There are three types of people, if you get right down to it. There are the peace breakers. There are those who just go out of the way. They're iconoclasts. They want to tear down everything. They just spread hurt, cause chaos. They are a drama everywhere they go. Histrionic personalities, dramatic. They just stir up peace no matter where they go. These folks are usually opinionated, narcissistic, a little judgmental, deliberately confrontational, and slippery and deceptive. Because then, after the whole thing just explodes, then they'll say stuff like, well, I didn't start it. They believe it's their gift to disagree about anything and everything. They slander on the phone, on social media. They spread stuff in the church hallways. They email, text destruction. They may be offensive to peace breakers, but they are the pawns of the enemy. Peace breakers, at best, are weak believers who are easily manipulated by Satan. They can destroy relationships, marriages, families, church families. Peace breakers. Paul said, keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Peace is the binding power of unity. Break the peace, break the unity. So there are peace breakers, and then there are peace fakers. This is a person who kind of passive aggressive. They'll prefer truce to trust and truth. They believe that when the fighting stops, they're at peace. But peace isn't defined by what there's not, that there's no war. Peace is defined by what's present. The love, camaraderie, the mutual concern, the esprit de corps. Peace comes not simply when the guns aren't going off. It comes when truth is known and the issue is settled. And people involved embrace one another and commit themselves to it. You got peace breakers, peace fakers, and then the peacemakers. These are those who work for peace. Hatred always looks for a victim. Love looks for a victory. The man of war throws stones, but the peacemaker builds bridges out of those stones. Peacemaking requires divine power. I've walked into many situations asking for God help, knowing that only the willingness of those involved in the presence of God would make a lasting change in a situation. We need Him. We need Him. Have you ever read Philip Keller's A Shepherd's Look at the 23rd Psalm? He said, hundreds of times I've watched an old, austere ewe walk up to a younger one, which might have been feeding contentedly or resting quietly in some sheltered spot. She would arch her neck, tilt her head, dilate her eyes, approach the other with a stiff-legged gait. All of this was saying, in unmistakable terms, move over, get out of my way, give ground, or else. And if the other ewe did not immediately leap to her feet in self-defense, she would be butted unmercifully. Or if she did rise to accept the challenge, one or two strong bumps would send her scurrying for safety. But one point that always interested me, Keller said, whenever the shepherd came into view, and the shepherd attracted the sheep's attention, they forgot their foolish rivalry and they stopped their fighting. The shepherd's presence made all the difference in their behavior. Oh, he's right. When the chief shepherd shows up, all the rivalries have got to stop. Let the peace of God, Paul said, let the peace of God rule in your heart. Can I give you just a few examples of being, or of advantages of being a peacemaker? Because if you're not, it blocks your fellowship with God. John said, how can anyone say I love God and hate his brother at the same time? You can't love God and hate your brother. If the horizontal is out of whack, the vertical will be too. Draw close to God, and you'll draw closer to each other. If you are a peacemaker, you're going to see more answered prayers. Because when we have aught with our brother and sister, you can pray and fast all you want. You can levitate across the church. You can dance. You can jump. You can shout. You can swing from the chandeliers, but you're not going to see answered prayers. Because when we're not at peace with one another, no, it repels God. Can I tell you that peacemakers are happy? Anger saps you. Mistrust robs you of your energy. Replaying those offenses over and over again on an endless loop in your mind steals, it saps you, it extracts the peace from you. Oh. But when you're a peacemaker, you magnify peace. Ingredients to make peace. I don't like acronyms, but I'm going to use the word peace. P. Plan a peace conference. Jesus said, if you remember someone has aught, go to them at once. Make peace. Take the initiative. Don't wait for them. Doesn't matter if you're the one that offended or you're the offender. It's always your move. Break those barriers. Walk up and say, let's get this right. Let's clear the air. Let's get this. We've got to be on the same page. Schedule a sit down. Arrange a meeting. Conflict is never resolved accidentally. It's resolved intentionally. P. Plan a peace conference. E. Empathize with their feelings. Here's what Philippians 2 said. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also the interest of others. Consider how other people feel. Pay attention to their needs. When we're upset, what are we thinking about? Me, my needs, my hurts, you hurt me. We're not concerned about the other person. God says, go opposite your feelings. Quit thinking about your own needs, your own hurts, your own problems. Understand them better. A, in peace, attack the problem, not the person. You can't plan a peace conference, empathize with someone's feeling, then say it's all your fault. You're the problem. I've been in so many difficult conversations and situations where people invariably are going to fix on one or the other as the image of their problem. It's called transference or projection. They're going to take it out on somebody. It's okay. It isn't fun. It hurts. But keep looking beyond the angry countenances and beyond the angry words. That person's been hurt pretty bad. You don't fix a problem by fixing blame. Solomon said a quiet answer turns away wrath. Engage your mind before you engage your mouth. Be sincere, not sarcastic. You don't get the point across by being cross. Attack the problem, not the person. Use helpful words, not harmful. C. In the acronym of peace, if you're going to see peace, C, cooperate as much as possible. Paul said in Romans 12, if it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. We should endeavor to get along. We should build bridges, not burning them. The most frightening people alive are not the ones going crazy in the Halloween season. They're not the Wiccans and the witches and the warlocks who are out there worshiping in darkness at night. It's the person who reads their Bible, prays, sings, gives, but who just can't get along with fellow believers. Scary. Because Jesus said in John 13, by this everybody's going to know you're my disciples if you have love one to another. But preacher, you don't know this person. There's some people you can't get along with. I know that. If you go left, they're going to want to go right. If you say it's beautiful, they say it's ugly. They'll do anything to create conflict. But by and large, people aren't like that. Do everything within you that's possible to live in peace. It has a price. If you want peace in your home, your job, your family, your church, always a price. It costs you usually your ego, your self-centeredness. We don't always have to be right. 3 most difficult words. Learn them. Learn them quickly. I was wrong. I was wrong. And then the corollary, I am sorry. No, if I offended you. No, if I misunderstood the situation. I was wrong. I am sorry. Peacemakers plant seeds of peace and reap harvests of goodness. What seeds are you planting? And finally, the last E in peace, the acronym, emphasize. Reconciliation, not necessarily resolution. Reconcile means you're just reestablishing contact. Doesn't mean you resolved all the problems. Doesn't mean you agree on everything. Sometimes, though, understanding is enough. You understand why they did what they did, even if you can't agree with it. Many times there's going to be legitimate differences. But if you're trying to reestablish lines of communication, recognize you're communicating, we're on the same team. We can't fight each other. Let's reconcile. And whatever time it takes to resolve this, we're going to do this. Now, all things are of God, who have reconciled us to himself through Jesus Christ. Jesus modeled that, 2 Corinthians 5. And so you and I have got to live it, and we've got to model it. We've got to show that. Just as Jesus, the Prince of Peace, showed us what to do, we're to be reconcilers and peacemakers because we're the children of God. Even at Calvary, he said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And you say, well, Pastor, I believe they do know what they're doing. Well, in a sense, they don't. They don't understand the short-sightedness of breaking peace. They don't understand it. They don't understand bringing unrest and disharmony to a spirit of rest and harmony, the damage that's done. And so you just say, forgive them. I don't know if I can do this. You can. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I believe God is ready to raise up a patient to become a healer. God is ready to raise someone up who's been the recipient of so much mercy and grace to be a healer. Jesus said, my peace I give to you. It's not momentary, not external, internal, hidden, the peace that cannot be taken away. Why don't you tear down those fences? Tear down those walls. Call a truce. Call a ceasefire. And say, I'm going to do my best to build bridges to people. I'm going to see what can happen. I like what St. Francis de Assisi used to pray. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. Where there's sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in the giving we receive, and it's in the pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's the dying to which we are born unto eternal life. If peace has gone missing, practice that acronym and see what God is going to do in your life. Got to run. Look forward to seeing you this weekend. Thank you for being part of Daily Devotion. Check out KenGurley.com, the resources there. Like, follow, and share on Facebook. Subscribe, X, YouTube, share with the whole wide world. God bless you this wonderful Friday. Go and have a great time today, and may the Lord be with you.
Thank you for sharing in Daily Devotion with Ken Gurley. We pray this ministry has been a source of encouragement and strength to you. Please be mindful that your financial support enables us to meet with you each day. To give a donation or connect with us, visit our website at kengurley.com. There you will also find the latest books, podcasts, and resources. Blessed 90 Days to Change Your World is Pastor Gurley's latest book. You can get your copy of this life-changing book at kengurley.com. May God's favor rest on you in every way until we meet again.